Hello everyone, it's Tailz from Studio Wildfire here. Sorry to keep you all waiting, but my software needed updates. Oh, it's fun when you've got to go and redo all your settings. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about the new isometric map tiles that I've been playing around with and creating. So let's get into it. Let me just fix up my graphics tablet here. There we go. Hopefully this stream is actually working, so let's get started. As some of you may already know, I released an experimental set of isometric map tiles about a month or so ago, and it didn't have too much in it. It had a few walls, a few floors, and bits and pieces, but I've created a few more bits and pieces since then. So let's start with the essentials, which is basically your blank. Well, let's start with what's in the pack so far. So as you can see here on the screen, we've got a blank page layouts. That is, if we have a look, it's got a couple of Photoshop documents in it, pre-set up, so you can create your own documents. So there's an A1, A2, A3 size documents. There's also an experiment, which is just a little map that I was experimenting about before I made the stream. So there it is. So that's in there, so you can have a look at it, how I put it together. But we're going to create a new one from scratch. So let's go back to here. So you can use these. The A1, A2, A3, they're all paper sizes. A3 is basically double the size of an A4 piece of paper. A2, double the size of an A3, A1, double the size of a A2. A1's pretty much the biggest you'll ever want to use, but we'll use an A3 for the moment. The page is, I've set up the page landscape, and it's got the isometric grid already put down. Now the isometric grid is, I've set it to be 100%, but I'll admit, I like to make it quite transparent. So let's set this down to about 10%. There we go. And then we'll lock that again. Okay, so so that's in the blank page layouts. Now, just so, for those of you who are keen to know, the layouts are all 300 DPI, so they're print ready. You can go and print this out. It'll be high quality. It'll look fantastic. Now, okay, so let's get to the actual pieces. You'll find in the folder the usual, what I have in most of my map tile sets. There will be floor tiles and wall tiles. Now, with building isometric maps, it's usually a good idea to have a bit of a plan on what you're going to be building, because the layering of each element actually becomes quite important, as I'll show you in just a moment. So when you're creating a map, create a new layer, call it plan. Oops. This is what you're planning to build. So let's just go to the paintbrush. Yep. So let's just say we want to have a room here, a corridor coming up this way, another corridor coming off there, maybe a door here. Oh, hang on, I'll do it like this. Oop. A door on both of these. Where's my erase tool? Why is that not erasing? Oh, it's only 10%. Duh. There we go. See what happens when you use your program for so many things and you forget what you've got it set to. Okay, so we've got a corridor coming up this way. Maybe we've got another room down here. you'll see why. Let's just say it sort of goes like this, and then maybe we'll have some stairs coming down here. So that's our plan. That's our plan. Now, the reason why it's pretty important to plan these things out, and let's make this plan, you know, transparent as well, is because as you place things, you want to be placing from the back of the map down this direction. And it's quite important, and I'll show you that in just a moment. So let me get rid of that. Because as you place things down, you'll see that the tiles that are... So for example, this tile here, if I was to place something there, it's in front of this tile, which is behind it, and this one, and this one. So we want, in our layer structure over here, we want this one to be above this one, this one, and this one. So as we place our tiles, we're going to be starting from the back and coming forwards like that. So let's zoom in. And again, so we'll begin up the back here. So let's begin with our wall. So as you can see, there are now a few more wall sections, and I plan to add a few more again. But let's start with this one. Now this one's also got a bit of floor in it as well. And we'll move this down so that we have our grid above it. Now one thing with this map set is you don't have to be too worried about getting it exactly in place. Because it is 300 DPI, you do have a lot of pixels to play with. The whole idea is get it to look good. Get it in place, get it looking good, get it roughly where you want it. You don't have to be absolutely pixel perfect. So, because with my other map tiles collection, where there are only 180 pixels per each square, so for example, you know, this square here is a little bit over 300 DPI in size, whereas my regular ones, which are actually, you know, top down, they're only about that big compared. So you can see it's a lot more pixels to play with. So you had to be a lot more fine on pixel placement for the top down ones, which were a smaller scale, dedicated to virtual tabletop stuff. But this larger stuff, these larger isometric tiles, I've designed them with print in mind, that you're printing out these, or, you know, they are also good for virtual tabletop, but I had print in mind for this because I had a lot of people asking me for higher resolution material. So this is where this is headed. You can still use it for virtual tabletop, but print was the objective. Okay, so let's think about how I'm going to do this. So I'm going to have another wall coming off here, and another wall coming off here. So this is where it's going to be a little bit interesting, because we're going to have different textures overlapping here. But because I'm going to whack a door over the top, it shouldn't matter too much. So let's have a look at what wall section we'll use. So let's put this one. So this will be around about here. Now you can see on the wall sections, I'm lining up where the edge, like where this brickwork turn edge is up the top here. I'm lining that up. I'm not worrying too much about the other side. But I might actually put this behind this one, so we get this edge coming through more. Over here, I'll use this one. Oh, no, I don't want to use that one. I want this side, this turn. So let's pop, what is this one? This one looks like pretty cool. So let's pop that. Coming through here. it's right. There we go. Now as you can see, like, it's a little bit, some bits are a little bit weird, like there's an edge coming through here, but there's no edge there. It shouldn't matter because when we put a doorway in here, that'll cover that seam. Now, we want to put the floor panels in. So let's go to our stone floor. Now, as you can see, we've got more stone floor sections. So there's floor pieces with patterning on it. There's you know, different. Like if you look at this one, it's got quite a raised texture. Ooh, we want this above this. Now this is where it comes in important. This is what I was talking about. You want to watch your layer ordering, and this is why we want to build from here down. Is that we can, as you can see, if I hold this one over the top of this, it doesn't look like that, right? But we want it to overlap when I put it in position, like that. Now that looks correct, doesn't it? So we'll put another one over here. Get it in position. Looks about right. Now, because we've got these two, we want to put this one in. But I should probably go back and start putting in this side and this side, because that's above these. So let's use a big block. That's this one coming through here. So this one coming in there. Now we want to jump back up to the top. Put in. Let's put in this one. That goes there. So we want to do this one here. So a good way to think of it is you're doing each row or each line. So for example, this square here, this square here, this square here. So everything on this line you want to do at the same time. And then this one, this one, this one, everything on that line you want to do next. That way you get all the overlapping quite right. But sometimes, you know, you've just got to put the tiles down and then, you know, rearrange things. Because you might build one piece and then start building another piece. There we go. So now I'm going to come down and do the next row. And this is where I have these ones come in. The textured map again. And the program I'm building this in is Photoshop. You could use these in GIMP or I'm trying to remember the name of other graphics editing programs. Clip Studio, Psy, any program you like that can edit graphics. Because all of the assets at the moment are... No, I don't want to use that one, because that one... I didn't use that texture there. I want to use one of these bricks. That one. So there we go. So as you can see, if I just zoom out, we've got our room starting to come along. We've got, you know, the start of a hallway coming through. We've got the walls coming in. So I would put another wall here. Now, where you start to have overlaps, it sort of comes down to how you want to handle it. If I just use this one here. Because if we put this wall here, you see it's overlapping this bit of corridor. and it's overlapping this, so I'll need to figure out where that is. But let's just get this in position first. So it belongs about there. So where is this tile? So this belongs about there. There we go. So it's underneath that. Now, because we've got a wall coming through, a walkway coming through here, a simple way of doing it is just give it a mask and fade it. Oops. So it's just a bit of experimentation and working out how you want to do it. Fade it that way, let's fade it this way. So that way you can see that the wall's there, but you can also see that there's like a passageway behind it. And obviously if there was more wall coming down here, you'd fade it so that that wall would sort of fade continue through the rest of the wall segments. But we don't have any more wall there. Let's try and create a little bit more of that passageway. This needs to go underneath there. So as I said, like you'll get used to the ordering of the layers, because you want to have, so again, this one's over the top of it, so I want to put this underneath it. There we go. So that could be our passageway there. Oops, just get it right. There we go. And then put a bit of extra wall. So where's this wall? That one there. So let's just make him red so I know where he is. Because I want that one underneath him. Come on, scroll down. There we go. So let's just put that in the position. And then put another piece in. Once again, he wants to be underneath that edge. Okay. And he's over a bit too far. There. So again, it's just, you know, getting it so it looks right. That's all you're concerned about, is that you just want it to look the way you want it to look. So there we go. We can see that we've got a passageway coming through there, and we've got a bit of this wall so that we know that this room's got wall to it. And we can do the same thing here. But I might leave that as is, because I want to make this a little shorter video. So what we'll do is we'll move down here, we'll make this room, and we'll make it a staircase. So, whoops, wrong button. So we want to have, come back up the top. So what we'll do is we'll put the wall tiles in. Start over here with this one. So go back into 100%. Now this is why I have these guidelines quite transparent, that this is only 10%, because they're just there as a guide. So I'll build the wall first. Then I'll come back and put the floor over the top. There we go. So there's the wall. Now we do the floor. Let's use some of those funky tiles. So where's my end segments? There we are. So we want this one. turn. Oh, I was going to do a room in here. Let's not use that one. Let's use the T intersection. Where is it? I want that one. Now we'll do these two. So we want a cornery piece. Let's go this one. Then we want another cornery piece on the other side, that one. And let's go for another. So how we have the stairs come off straight here, so we'll just want another corner. That one. There we go. So that's that little room there. Again, we could put in another. Actually, I'll put it in so we can see how we do it. Like, I'm still experimenting with how these all go together. Okay, now. So this one needs to go under that one. There we go. That looks right. So then we want to fade this out a bit. So let's put in a mask. And put in a bit of fade there. So we know that there's a wall there. Oops, wrong way. Get on screen. There we go. So we know there's a wall there. We do see a bit of exterior. So if we're role playing through, we can see our model comes through. There are some programs that are really interesting. There's a isometric map program made by, I'm trying to remember the fellow's name. Grapefruit might be. I'll have to put it in the description. This would be really good to use on that because it can actually fade out when you've got a model that comes along. You can actually fade out the walls when the model is behind it. Really cool. I kind of created this with that application in mind. Now, this is the interesting bit where we come along and we want a wall. We want a wall that's going to be behind the staircase. So let's create. So we want to come back up the top because this is going to be over the top of this. So let's start off putting it low. So the staircase is going to go over the top of this. So this is actually quite low, but we're going to be fading this. So we put that there, and then we'll put another piece. Let's put it in line. So it would be about here. Good, come on, move. There we go. So, because I want a fade that's going to cover both of these, I'll group them, put a mask on the top. Then we'll do a fade coming this way, and a fade coming down there. There we go. Now, we want to have a look for our staircase. So, again, floor tiles, usually where I keep them, steps. Here's all our different stepping pieces. So let's just use... Which one? Let's just use these. So this one will start around about here. That's going. So we can put another one in. this is where it comes a little bit funky. So we don't really want that ending off just there. Well, I don't. So let's go back, get some walls. Get that one. Now we want this behind these, so that we can sort of fuzzy fade this in. You know, it just has to look like it belongs. There we go. And there is a quick build of an isometric map. Let's get rid of our plan. You know, this is the foundation. This is something that you can start building with. You know, you'd work this up more. You'd go and put in, like, I'm making some test props. So, you know, we could have there's a little table that's in there, put it in the corner. And we could have somewhere where they go and sit and have some food. And maybe there's a fellow that's adventuring through as well. So it's this pack of isometric tiles. It's still in the experimental phase. Please let me know what you think of it. Whether there's any particular pieces you want me to add in, things you want me to take out, things you want me to tweak, whatever you'd like, let me know in the comments, and I'd love to hear what you think of it. Thank you very much. Oh, at the moment, the pack is only available to my Patreon subscribers. Everybody who's on the Patreon gets access to all of my experimental stuff, so this is in the experimental section of the project library. So please have a look, have an experiment, you know, dabble with it, tell me what you think, whether you think it needs more pieces, or obviously it needs more pieces, but if you think it needs something specific, let me know. I desperately need to know whether, you know, you guys think it's something to pursue. Thank you very much. Please remember to like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that sort of jazz, and I will see you all next time.